with a big yes in my heart. And one day I attended the deathbed of our dear beloved Alma. She died yesterday. And then right from there I had to go to a wedding and be with my wonderful friends Julie and Paul, who are celebrating the walk of their life that's led them to this abundance of love. Our spiritual ancestors celebrated all of it. With a big breath, they acknowledged the rhythms of life, the light and the dark, the joy and the sadness, the coming and goings of things, the letting go and the receiving. So in this creation-centered calendar of today, we've arrived at Lammas. It's the cross-quarter holiday between the summer solstice and the autumn equinox, right? I believe it's really important to touch into these old creation-centered, earth-based spiritual practices to help us bear what comes into our lives. The ancient ones really knew how to do this. Our agrarian ancestors were close to the earth, directly in touch with the ways of nature. Local farms were what there was. Farm to table was what everyone ate. Not so long ago, not so many generations past, our own people had a sense of this interdependence with nature in a very deep way. So today we have a beautiful altar that many of you have brought the first fruits of your harvest from your gardens to celebrate. In generations past, for thousands of years, right at this time around August 1st, people would come together out of their fields and gather in community, bringing their first fruits. In fact, Lammas comes from the old Gaelic word that sounds sort of like that. It's loaf mas, and it means the mass of a loaf, bread. And so what would happen around this time of year is that people would try to wait to harvest the first grain right until August 1st, because they believed if they harvested it sooner, it was showing that the supply hadn't held out. So they wanted to wait until August 1st, harvest the grain, and the same day break bread together, bake that first loaf of bread from the grain. So I have here on the altar a symbol of this grain. This turns into this. And we have here today the symbols of our communion. Communion has been happening, in other words, way pre the Christ story for tens of thousands of years in cultures all over the world right at this time. This was the first communion with bread and wine, so to speak. So at the beginning of our service today, we're going to have communion together. And I think it's celebrating that we are people who have come a long ways. We individually are, and we as a culture, we have come a long ways, and yet we need to remember these ancient earth-based ways, and yet we are moving into greater mastery, and our human race is advancing. And so I'm having communion first to honor you as masters, as people who have journeyed deeply in your souls and are bringing it all through in this time period on this planet. So I'd invite you in a moment as we sing this wonderful song, Earth My Body, Water My Blood. What are the rest of the words of it, Donna?
Air my breath and fire my spirit.
I invite you to come forth, and there's gluten-free bread, that's the browner bread, and the whiter bread is the regular wheat bread. We also have apple juice, and I've read that the ancient ones often celebrated with apple cider. The apple was called the fruit of the goddess. And so as you come forth in the beginning of our service, while we're singing this song, I'll be saying some prayers of blessing while we're doing all of this. So may you partake, knowing that we are the ones that we've been waiting for. And you are enough. And you are abundant for these times that are at hand. thank you for holding them. I didn't know what exactly you would do with them, and you're standing there holding them. Many of you are. If you already ate and drank, it's okay, but just take a moment and pause for a moment now with them in your hands or already in your body. And just feel that we, in this human mystery, are a part of everything that we eat and drink. And that, yes, we take life energy in and we transform it. So right in this moment, we give thanks for the wonderful food on our tables. We give thanks that our soil is fertile. We give thanks for the fruit of the trees and of the vines and of nature's bounty and of all the gifts that we receive by living here on planet Earth. We give thanks to the mother of the harvest who said to hold the sickle of cutting the grain and the basket of receiving it. We are blessed with abundance and plenty from you, Mother Earth. And we give thanks to Father Sky who sends the light, the great light that we celebrate, the Son of Light, the Giver of Light, the light that guides us through life and on when we die to heaven. We are thankful for the light. So take in your hands right now this blessed symbol of food and drink, of bread and wine, and know that our way shower, Jeshua, Jesus said, I am the bread of life. There's a spiritual meaning to this because we are the bread of life to other people. So as you take this in, say, I am the bread of life. Life is flowing in me. And as you drink this wonderful apple cider juice, I am the waters of life that refresh and flow abundantly and bring rain and heal us. I am the waters of life. So give yourself thanks for being here, for being on this planet at this time as you partake of this communion together. The power of the harvest is within you. As the seed falls to earth and is reborn each year, you too grow as the seasons change. As the grain takes root in fertile soil, you too find your roots and develop. As the smallest seed blossoms into a mighty stalk, you too will bloom where you've landed. And as the wheat is harvested and saved for the winter, you too will set aside and preserve that which you can use later. We celebrate. You may be seated now. And Kara is going to come around and pick up through creation-centered spiritual traditions. They would never do a ritual without the children. Never, never. Nor would they do it without the older people. They would make sure that everyone was there. So we're so glad that the children are with us. And they're going to be going out now, though, to celebrate in their wonderful, fun way with Francie. And come up front and be with your teacher up front for just a minute, and we will sing the song to you that Francie taught us last week. And I didn't mention this to Donna, but we can do it together, do you think? Do you want to do it?
To do the song of Martha?
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
It's a silent, since we're not doing announcements.
Oh, maybe we won't do the song, we'll do this instead.
No, we're just
Okay.
going to do this.
All you kids have got signs to hold up for us. We're talking about abundance here today and gratitude. And next week we're having an ice cream social. Right after church. We're having an ice cream social. I get to hold one too.
In the spirit of the silent announcement.
I'm trying to hold it beside you, but it's really hard.
You're doing fine.
You are the face of God. I hold you in my heart. You are a part of me.
I don't know about you, but I have a lot of gratitude for our children's program, for the wonderful work that Francie and Patrice do every week with our kids. And in the fall, we're going to be launching more advertisement and letting the community know that we have a creation-centered, earth-based, new thought, wonderful children's program. So we're hoping to draw more families, because I think a lot of people don't know. They don't know what a wonderful program we have going on here. So spread the word. A lot of us sitting here, I think maybe almost everyone, is of a Celtic heritage. Now, Celtic isn't just Irish. It spread all over Eastern Europe, Central Europe, through all of the countries of Europe for many, many centuries. There were common practices that people did. For 2,000 years, people practiced the Eleusinian mysteries. You know what they are? Some of you know what they are. That was the celebration of the story of Demeter and Persephone. She was like the mother goddess, the mother who lost her daughter to Hades, to the underworld. And then she proclaimed that the earth wasn't going to come into abundance, wasn't going to come into harvest or bloom until she got her daughter back. Wow, what a story. And then she sought and got her daughter back. This is a very similar myth to Isis and Osiris and Horus, the searching of Isis for the lost parts of her beloved. So on this planet, we have going on for thousands of years this sense that something has been lost and that we're not going to put up with it until it's regained. And they would celebrate this right at this time of year, the first fruits time, when the fruits were coming. And all the people knew that it was really important that they have a good harvest so they make it through the winter. So they would do this ritual that was, it's called the Eleusinian Mysteries, all over Europe, all over the Middle East. I mean, it was widespread. And they would go down into a cave and they would have a communion feast, but with an entheogen, with a plant medicine that changed their consciousness, and in which they did rituals that had them realize the good would come again. Persephone would return. The good would return to the earth. Wow. So these rituals were the mainstay of our culture, of our past. And then the Christian myth came along and built on that, you know, that the sun of light would return. So it's lived on, this way of being human and knowing that something is lost and we are here to have it live again in us, to have the light come forth again. So Donna has a wonderful song that she found to celebrate this ancient mythology that we're practicing in our lives every day and that lives on, and it's called Finnishs Rainbow. I know you'll enjoy it.
Where we come from, there is an old legend. You'll never grow old, and you'll never grow poor if you look through the rainbow beyond the next moor.
That's a lovely legend. I wonder who thought of that.
My father. On the day I was born, said my father, said he, I've an elegant legacy waiting for ye. 'Tis a rhyme for your lips and a song for your heart, to sing it whenever the world falls apart. Look to the rainbow, follow it over the hill and the stream. Look to the rainbow, follow the fellow who follows a dream. So I bundled me heart and sumptuous gift to bequeath to a child. A nerve that song kept my feet funnin' wild. For you never grow old and you never stand still, with a whippoorwill singing beyond the next hill. Look to the rainbow, follow it over the hill and the stream. Look to the rainbow, follow the fellow who follows the dream. Follow the fellow, follow the fellow, follow the fellow who follows a dream. You never lost.
You can feel your Irish blood coming through here.
Hey, I'm adopted, so I'm everybody.
Oh. There's only one of us here. Well, in the Celtic tradition, in the Irish tradition, there's the story of Lugh, L-U-G-H, and he was the fellow that you were supposed to follow, who followed his rainbow dream. In ancient legend, it had it that Lugh was the son of the goddess of the earth. He was of the Tuatha De Danann, the earliest people in Ireland who were said actually to have come from the stars to planet Earth. And many cultures around the world have legends like this. And Lugh was the sun. He was called the son of light. And what happened was that some other beings came and were causing the crops not to come forth. And were, just as in the Demeter and Persephone myth, something happened that altered the cycles and that made things start to go wrong. So it's interesting that there is this story all over the planet. And Lugh was the one who encouraged the people not to give up, not to stop following the light, even though darkness came. So he was called the Son of Light, and the rainbow in Ireland was Lugh's rainbow, the light rainbow. And so it had a lot of meaning, that it wasn't just follow the rainbow to the pot of gold. It was really about following the spiritual source all the way through to the finishing of what we're here to accomplish as the Tuatha De Danann, as the humans that are here to live in harmony with planet Earth. Pretty interesting, huh? So I'm going ahead and doing my talk earlier in the service because we're going to have another ritual celebration in a moment here. So I've titled my talk, Gratitude Removes the Blinders. But we're talking about seeing the light. Sometimes we've got blinders to seeing the light. But first I want to remind us about what this seeing of the light is about, what this thing that we call healing is about, or bringing healing on planet Earth through the light energy coming forth. Healing is not just a single event, like something that happens, boom, and then it's over. It's not so specified that way or localized in time and space. Healing is a state of consciousness. It's not a thing so much as it's an activity. When we call it a thing, we objectify it and it becomes a thing that we look for and we chase after. But healing is a process. It's something that's happening all the time. It's happening within everything all the time. So it's not something to attain, it's something to retain. You experience healing when you align with it and accept that healing is going on all the time, that life itself is regenerative. You hear me? So you see what we're talking about here with nature and the rhythms of life and the cycles of nature. Life itself is regenerative. Everything in life is moving toward healing all the time. It doesn't matter how bad the devastation is, healing is still taking place all the time. Take the example of the forest fires coming through, close by to us. Don't you know, right after the fires pass, what happens? The little green things start shooting up again and coming through. Just now I was back visiting my mother, and I was weeding her garden, and they have put down this new stone driveway that's pieces of stone, you know, and up through all the cracks of the stone driveway that was solid stone coming are these little green shoots, the grass. And so I was going around weeding, pulling all these things out and making like nice clear ground and just have flower here, flower there, you know. And within a few days it rained again, and I went out and all the little green things were popping up and all that space I just cleared. So don't you see? Life is always coming through, no matter what happens to push it down. There's nothing that happens that is so devastating that it prevents the renewal of healing from occurring. Healing is the natural capacity of all of life. It's what would happen if we don't get in the way. It's not that we have to search for healing or that we have to do anything in particular except, perhaps, give up our stories that what happened is so bad that things are now desperately irreparable. It's the stories that we tell ourselves that because this thing has happened, that we're on a certain trajectory now. It's the release of the narrative that has to happen for us to experience this life-giving power. And I know that's not so simple. I've been working on releasing certain narratives all my life. I was thinking about what narratives that I have lived, shadow narratives that I've lived since my youth, that I've been working on and releasing as I go along, and I'm still working on releasing. And one of them was that I remember in my college days thinking that I wasn't worthy to receive the abundance that I saw some others having. I wasn't as smart as them. I couldn't do the work as fast as they could. And so then I went into certain patterns of settling for less, but always feeling a longing, you know. Or then also taking something when it wasn't quite ready, like, oh, well, there's not enough, so I better have this now, not waiting for something to ripen. So the lessons that I've gotten out of that over and over again are never take what is not given. Then what is truly yours will come. You know? And another shadow lack pattern that I had in my youth was saying that I was looking for the truth, but I was busy looking at the places where it was not all the time and seeing the hypocrisy in the system around me. I was seeing the lie everywhere I looked. And so I got really fixated on what was wrong and the difficulties around me. And I was a social worker, so there was a lot of difficulty to see. But I wasn't seeing all the way through to the truth. Then when I hit upon a greater truth, like the Buddhists say, right thinking or right seeing, or AA calls it getting away from stinking thinking, or New Thought Christianity calls it coming into the Christ consciousness. Well, anyway, this change in perspective came over me, and not just one time, it keeps coming over me, right? In waves of greater and greater ability to see the truth. And I became aware that when I was just looking at what was wrong, I could find that, but if I focused on that, I would just end up being sad and angry. So as time went on, my activism, my social activism changed from looking for what was wrong and needed to be fixed more toward what is the positive vision that I'd like to see come forth. And so focusing on that positive vision became a yes instead of organizing around a no. The title of the talk today is Gratitude Removes the Blinders. Now blinders, let's think about what they are for a minute. Blinders are not a blindfold, right? A blindfold is something that we put over all of our eyes and it covers up all of the light and we can't see anything. But blinders are more like those flappers that you see on the side of a horse's head, you know? What do? They prevent us, or a horse, from looking to the side. So the horse is looking straight ahead, Well, you think, oh, well, looking straight ahead, not being distracted, that can be a good thing. When riding on horseback, I was taught that we were supposed to think about where we were going, because the horse was moving so fast that it somehow intuitively would follow our thoughts. And it was so true. Like if I looked to the left or the right, the horse would be going that way, boom, boom, really quickly. And that could be dangerous. So where I focused my thoughts, it was called keeping your eye on the birdie in horsemanship. The horse would go. So yes, focus is a good thing. We will go in the direction that we set our intention. Like when you're driving a motorcycle or a car, you can feel that. Sometimes if you just look away for a second, your car will veer that way. But with a horse on a farm, the farmers wanted to get the horse to keep plowing and keep going down the same track and going round and round and round. So they would put the flappers on the horse's eyes, but then they also did something else. They'd put this stick attached to the horse's back, and it would hang out over the horse's head, and a string would be hanging down on it. And hanging on the string would be a carrot or an apple. And that's where the old saying comes from, chasing after the carrot on the end of the string. So I'd like to say that we, in our whole system, have been programmed by these dangling carrots hanging in front of our eyes on the stick. And when I was with my mother just now watching TV with them, which I don't usually get a chance to do much of, and I noticed that there are so many commercials now. Like there used to be 1 or 2 commercials, 3 maybe, between the parts of the program, but I counted one time and there were 18. And then I counted the next time there were 22. So there's a lot of commercials that come between the sections of the show right now. So the whole system that we're living in is designed to keep us chasing after these things that we're supposed to need and want. In our materialistic world, we're just like the horse chasing after the carrot. And we've taken even spiritual qualities like love and safety and peace and joy, and we commodify them and say, if you fly on this airplane, you will have spirit. Or if you drink this juice, you will have love. So we put these spiritual commodities out there like something that we could chase after, like a security that we can get that way, but we will never find that thing that we're longing for by chasing it this way. But it does make for good business. And I just want to speak to us about, if you don't watch TV, but maybe you do look on the internet a lot. And the websites are set up that way too, to keep us looking for the next teacher that we can go to, the next workshop that we can partake of, the next thing that'll take our breath away and that'll really be the answer, right? But we don't have to look without like that. Just to recognize that this pattern of looking on the TV screen, looking on the internet, started not that long ago. It doesn't have to keep being the way that things are. It took a hold really just right after World War II. And did you know that's when soap operas were invented? Do you know who they were invented by? Procter & Gamble. What does Procter & Gamble make? Soap products. And so really, soap operas were invented to have women be content to come out of the factories where they had become strong, Rosie the Riveters, and to come back into the home and need all of these products that were being created. And everybody needed to have their own washer and dryer, their own iron, their own ironing board, their own this and their own that. Singularly, individually, in our own homes, everybody has to have their own things. We're all still chasing for that, for everybody to have their own everything, right? It's what we call the American dream. And you're not successful until you're independent enough to have everything in your own house that you need so that you don't have to depend on anybody else. We live in a society where we believe that we are what we have or what we do not have. The way our English language is constructed, we have to say, I am hungry, or I am broke. We can't even make it that we're just experiencing a lack of flow of certain resources, like Native American languages might have said, but in English, we become what we have. It's a colonization of our minds. It comes over us like, I am broke. So it makes us dissatisfied with our very selves. We are not enough somehow. And then we have an anxiety It makes us dissatisfied with not only what we have or don't have, but with who we are. This is the way our economic system is set up. That's why we are having to deconstruct it, and why it's not such a bad thing that we're experiencing change in our economic systems. The study of human beings and of what we do is what economics is based on, and it's said that we make assumptions when resources are scarce that there isn't enough. So we have based our economics, and therefore in our spirituality too, even though we don't realize it. I just wanted to point out that our old ways have been based on this whole system of there's resources out there, but there isn't enough. And so I have to be in competition, and there's scarcity. We know this, but we have got to restructure how we do our economics. But in this spiritual community here, we've got to restructure how we speak to one another and how we speak about our own community resources here. If we're not in gratitude, then we're in this other mindset. We're in not enoughness. So this celebration of Lammas is about recognizing that there are first fruits amongst us of good things that are happening. The first fruits. How many of you in your life right now could say, I see some first fruits of good things happening that are going to be coming to fuller fruition in my life? And you see that. There's first fruits happening. So gratitude is this sense that we can orient our thinking around being thankful for whatever little thing we see that's the first fruits. This week, Catherine Lang, are you here, Catherine? Oh, she's not here today, but she turned me on to Father David Steindl-Rast. Do you know him and his writings? And I've really appreciated him through the years, but he does this whole writing on gratitude, and he says, one thing is certain, that if we say an unconditional yes to the mutual belonging of all beings and all things, all circumstances in our life, if we say an unconditional yes, we will make this a more joyful world. The reason why is that yes is really the word that life is saying all the time. And so he says that yes is his favorite word for God. Get it? Yes is really the way we can know God. Being grateful is really the way we can have an authentic relationship with the divine creator. Steindl-Rast said, there's no closer bond than the one which gratefulness celebrates. There's no closer bond than the one which gratefulness celebrates, the bond between giver and thanksgiver. So if we're grateful for everything, it strengthens that sense of our belonging to the whole. So whatever your circumstance, you need to know that it's important to set aside time away from the pulls of the dominant system and go into solitude. David Steindl-Rast relates this to meditation. We've got to take time to meditate, to reorganize our thoughts, to reorganize our minds so that we can pull away from what the conditioning is that's going on and be in this state of perpetual gratitude. For every moment that we can be in gratitude is a moment that we will feel close to life energy, to God, to the divine. I've begun to do this meditation group that we're excited about, and I think, 13 of us were there the first time, and we're going to be doing it again on this Friday at 1 o'clock in the back room here. And this is the reason why we need to get together and meditate, because it really does, in a collective sense, when we come together, reorganize our thought patterns, and we're able to breathe deeply and be together and create space for something really new to come forth. And we experienced that even in just the first time we were together. It was very exciting to feel the sense of vision coming forth, of newness coming forth in our community. So that's why I want to get us together to meditate together that way, because there are some really exciting things that are afoot. There are first fruits happening right here in August. I find it so interesting that the timing is actual. in my life, in our community life right now, that there are some first fruits happening, and I have several meetings going on throughout the next couple of weeks about exciting developments that are going to come into full bloom over this next year. So stay tuned. You are a part of something, even if you don't fully know what it is yet. You might be having intuitions about it, but I'll give you a clue. I'm forming it in the shape of the word Earth Temple. Earth Temple. So let's take our blinders off. Let's really open our hearts, go into solitude, go into our inner sanctuaries and be hearing the voice of life, the voice of the yes in you. What if you didn't believe the voices of no that you've been listening to for so long inside of yourself? You know, just to apply it on a very personal note here for a minute. What if you didn't believe that you were too old to make your dream come true that hasn't come true yet? What if you didn't believe that you are too busy with kids so you can't go back to work? What if you don't believe that you have a fixed income and nothing else can come to you? What if you don't believe that because your mama didn't do this or your dad didn't give you that, that you aren't going to have something? Who would you be if you laid aside the blockages and the no's and began to say a really big yes? So I'm going to invite you in a few moments here in this Lammas moment in time, this cross-quarter holiday, when we get to cross-quarter times are times when we get to reorient between summer solstice and the autumn equinox. We get to redirect our focus so that we're ready for what's coming in the next full holiday. It's a cross-quarter holiday. So in this Lammas moment, I'm going to invite you to, do we have the pieces of paper, Cara? To take this piece of paper that we're about to hand out, and what they used to do in the ancient rituals is they would take a husk of corn. So this paper is representing your husk of corn. So we've gotten yellow paper to represent a husk of corn. And what they would do in the ancient ritual is make a doll out of the husk of corn, and they would put into it their thoughts about what needed to be let go of. Something that they had thought was going to come to fruition that has not. So there's things in our life at this cross-quarter holiday of Lammas that need to be let go of. So on the one side of the paper, I want you to think about things that you've been kind of attached to happening in a certain way that haven't come in that way. Like for me, I'll give you an example. I've had some beautiful homes to live in. And I thought, oh, this is it, and that's it. And I've had to let go of them for various reasons along the way. So there's things that have been hard for me to let go of that I've had to let go of. So that's on the one side of the paper, things that you've had to let go of. Things that you need to let go of more fully, maybe. Also, I've had visions about how certain types of healing would take place in my family, for example. And it hasn't come about that way. Okay, so things that we have to let go of. But then, on the other side of the paper, I would like you to envision and think about and write down a dream that you're still holding and that you're willing to let go of old conceptions to still come through this dream. This dream that you know you must have. Something that you hardly maybe even dare to hope for again, but you must have it in your life. Because these truths of life energy, of things that we must have, are our incarnational destiny. It is your destiny to be a hero and to bring these innermost desires of your heart all the way through to completion. So on the other side of the paper, you're going to write down this dream that you still must have. Maybe there's several dreams. So it's interesting because on the one side of the paper, like I could write, the letting go of my desire to have a healing with my sister in a certain way. And I open up to having a healing with my sister. Right? You see what I'm saying? I have to let go of certain ways of perception that I've been holding on to, that things have to happen in a certain way, so that I'm open to the life energy that is moving, to the healing that is taking place right in this moment that I'm not seeing, the healing that is afoot. So Donna and Richard are going to play some beautiful Celtic sounding music for us as you contemplate what you need to let go of and what you need to bring forth and see as the harvest comes in the near future. Fire is strong, but water is stronger. Oh, okay. Donna was reminding me that in the order of things, it's best if we do the offertory first before we go out.
That's what I'm here for.
Good idea. So Donna's going to improv a song for us that speaks to everything that I'm trying to say. She'll probably say it in a better way in this song as the offering is taken.
I'm gonna say it again. There's no darkness from the start. Oh, you can be feeling down and you can be feeling blue. Put your feet on earth, mama, and you will know we're true. There's never darkness. There is always light. Am I right? There is never darkness. There is always light. You're in the middle of a depression. You don't know what to do. Here's what I'll tell you. Get down on your knees and thank the mama. Get down on your knees and have gratitude for everything in your life. There is never darkness, there is always light. The proof is in the pudding, just look up at night. Those stars are shining and they're shining just for you. The moon is up in the sky and she's so true. She reminds us that we are here to thank her every day. We're here to thank her in every way.
You know, Donna is really doing an improv.
But 9 times out of 10, somebody will come up to me and say, when did you write that? And I'll say, right now. So there is no darkness, there's only light. We love you, Alma.
Rub our hands together and say divine love. We might say divine love and light. Divine love and light. Through me, blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. Thank you, Spirit. Thank you. Thank you for giving, you know. It really speaks to the reciprocity that's going on, that prayer that we say. And because Donna just said, thank you to Alma, I just wanted to say a note as we go out, you know, that Alma was here with us every Sunday for so many years, welcoming us at the welcoming table, and I feel her presence. She just passed yesterday. And I feel her presence with us here, and I was thinking about her being a welcomer for us. She went ahead of us. She's there on the other side now, and that she will be there at Heaven's gates welcoming us to the light. So we just thank you, Alma, for all the deep, it was very determined work that you did. I didn't know that you were going to pass so soon. You were going to be leaving us so quickly from this community, but we were privileged to have you with us these last 4 years of your life, in which you did the Journey to Completion 4 times. And she did Heather's workshop and Destiny's and every improv workshop, and she was in the Peace Choir, and she did so many things to dig into every nook and cranny of her life and bring forth the light and bring forth forgiveness and healing. And so we just really honor her today in our midst, and honor all of you for being that kind of people too. And this is just another ritual that we were blessed to do, and that ancient peoples have done, and people have done all through the cultures and the centuries. This kind of ritual is another opportunity to say yes, and to also let go. Like Alma wanted to keep living, and she had to let go of her desire to keep this body and know that there was a completion happening and a greater time that she was going on to. So let this little ritual of letting go be honoring of that great letting go that she just did, that we will all do, that it's a natural part of the cycles of our eternal lives. So let's go forth now out into nature, out into our backyard here, and do our burning ceremony. And then I'd like you to, we're going to be out there, we're going to be singing this song as we do it, and then we'll sing a closing song out there. So we'll have a closing circle. And then I'd love for you to come back in and have refreshments and listen to the announcements and be together around the refreshments back inside. Okay? So here we go.
But water is stronger. Fire is strong, 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 but water